Hi friends, it's Vicki back again. I'm going to show you a few of the techniques we talked about. It's Vicki Boutin with Vicki Boutin Mixed Media with American Crafts at Creativation 2018. And let's get right into it. So art crayons. I talk about them all the time. I love them. It's one of the workhorses of my brand, and I'm going to show you a couple of quick techniques that you can use with them and some layering fun. So I have one of my stamps here, and we're going to just quickly go in. See, broken crayons silk color. These are meant not just to be pretty and right out of the package. You can use the side of it. I've been using some of these pieces the whole show just to demo, and I like to use the side of it. The whole idea with art crayons, it's like an oil pastel but completely water soluble. It's not too soft, it's not too hard. Again, you have to try out all of the different brands of watercolor crayons and decide which one works for you. I'm going to show you how I use mine. Okay, so I have a little piece of the art crayon, and I'm going to just go dry right around the side of the stamp, and then take some of the blue to have a nice complementary color in the middle, and then I have to grab a mini mister. Or a mister. See, I still love my Tims, right? It's a mister. It mists water. And then I'm going to mist that on the stamp. And then guess what happens? And see, this is the new foundations paper. I keep thinking there's two pieces together because it's so thick. It's great for all of this wet stuff. And then stamp. And then I'm not going to add any more color on there. I'm going to put some more water on and continue to stamp. Look at that. Look at how much pigment is in that crayon. So I have not put any more product on there, but I'm getting multiple images. The more water, the more watercolor effect you get. The less water, the drier, more stamped effect you get. Now I want to show you something else. I could take, well actually let's save that. So that's one thing, I want to walk it through slowly. So I'll put that down, I'm going to dry off my table, and I'm going to do the next thing. So if you've been watching videos, you hear me say this technique I call the kissing technique. It's also the packaging technique. It's been around for a long time. I've used it for a long time. It's kind of a faux watercolor. So if you're nervous to take watercolor paint and put directly to a blank canvas, this is a technique for you. If you are a scrapbooker, if you like to artfully plan or Bible journal, this is the technique for you. I have to find my paintbrush that I just had. There we go. So I don't have my new ones yet, so I've just been using one of Heidi's. The key here as well, if you're noticing the art crayon, if I want a watercolor effect, I'm not drawing directly on paper and then trying to blend the crayon on paper. You will set yourself up for failure because it won't work. You will keep the memory of the line you drew. You can't blend out without pulling the paper. That is a big, big golden nugget with doing watercolor backgrounds. So then you just kiss the background. And even though I have added all that water, I have not lost the intensity of the color. So this is another reason why I love the art crayons. They have a great pigment load and there's lots of color in there. So that's another technique. That was super easy. We'll leave that to dry. So even though the paper's buckled, as soon as the moisture leaves, it's gonna go flat. Do not go in with your heat gun. Could you heat gun it? Yes, but most people overheat, and if you overheat, you change the memory and the fibers of the paper, and you can never get it to go flat. So I always say patience, Padawan. Just let it dry on its own, move to another thing. There's lots of fun waiting, just keep doing the techniques. So let's do the next thing. So remember, I have this new stencil brush. I love the handle on it. It feels good in my hand because when you're doing this, like I've been doing this for 3 days, your wrist can get a little bit tired. So I love that it comes in the two sizes. And this sheet I'm using is what comes in the package. So you have, this is what is the blending plate, okay? Or mixing plate, whatever fancy name we've given it. So let's go and show you now another technique with the same product. I'm gonna put 2 colors of art crayon. And again, you can use whatever palette. I just think this shows up really well for you guys at home. That purple's a little lighter. So all I've done is drawn on here. Again, these are, even though they're not super soft, they're soft. If you press really hard with it, it crumbles and it's going to break. I am not pressing hard when I apply. You don't need to. They're heavily pigmented and they're soft enough that you can get it to transfer. So then take your stencil brush and then just pick up some of the pigment. So that was easy, right? Lots of pigment on the tip of the brush. And then I will take this stencil because I think it shows up really well. Put it down. I've been wearing the color right off of it. I've been using it so much. Put your brush on, and then in little circles. Seriously, this is awesome because I know a lot of you bought the art crayons. I want to always be developing tools that will work well with what you already have on hand. So you get lots of longevity out of the product. Went in and put some purple. Blend that in. You can blend multiple colors. Now get ready for the magic. So I'm not pressing super hard. Look at that. Look how soft that is. I love this. I know, something as simple as a stencil brush. That is awesome. And then guess what? I figured out as I've been going is I put this down, and if I go to clean it off on a wipe, so don't dip it right in water, but just kind of wet what's on there, look at what I get out of it. So I could go and actually add pigment to multiple surfaces just by putting a little bit of dampness on the top of the stencil brush. So look at that, pigment still going. And it's even softer. Do you see how it looks a little bit stippled on here? And then that one is blended. You don't want to wet the stencil brush because this is a pretty detailed stencil. The pigment will float right underneath it. You don't want that. Well, you might want that. So try it. It could be another technique. But I love that, and I'm going to show you about 2 more things. There could be 100 because I talk nonstop and I'm excited about this stuff. So let's layer right on here. So remember we talked about all of the things that art crayons can do, and we haven't talked about the glaze yet. So I'm going to get into this one first just to show you how pretty. It's the rose gold. So these are a really nice creamy consistency. What makes them a little different as well is they will work as a texture paste, but they are also water soluble. So it means I can dilute them to do lots of different things. But let's use it just traditionally, right out of the container with another stencil. And the whole key with mixed media is layering. So I'm just going to pull it through my stencil so that you can see how fun that is. Oops. Look at that. So that's the rose gold. That's one use for the glazes. We call them the creative effects glazes. I'm going to quickly give this a wipe because if I don't, it's going to be a mess. So it all will clean off, but like any medium, if you let it sit too long, it just takes a lot more elbow work. So either have someone stole my garbage can. It's awesome. Just kind of give it a wipe. I usually will wipe it off with a dry paper towel first because then the medium doesn't go all over your work surface, but that's good enough, okay? Just give it a clean. So we have art crayons, we have glazes, we have rose gold, gold, silver, and my favorite, iridescent. Remember? Happy, crushed unicorn tears. So why do I love this one? Because there's no pigment, but tons of sparkle. So if I want to add it to my art crayon, I could put, see the broken one? You don't throw them away because they certainly work. And I could take just scrapes off of it. So even those little broken pieces, if you put them in a little cup, you still can use them. And then we're gonna do like a little mixing. So I don't really bake, but I can make some magic with my art supplies. So just blend that in, and you could even use it if you wanted to, speckled like that. But let's blend it to get a good purple. So you see the magic happening, I'm sure. You see iridescent and purple. I didn't have to buy another product. I can just tint it with, again, just the art crayons. So let's pick that up. Grab a stencil. I'm going to use the one we just used. And let's put it on this. Actually, let's put it on a white card so you can see it. All right, and through my stencil. And now I have metallic tinted glaze. Super fun. So again, I haven't given you 10 different products to use. We're still on that a couple, right? The glazes, the watercolor crayons, art crayons, and a couple of stencils and tools. And one more thing before you go, because I'm sure you're like, Vicki, you talk too much. Are you almost done? No, I'm never done. but at some point we're going to turn the camera off. So see what's left on my blending palette? I'm just adding water because remember, these are water soluble. And guess what I can do? I can have tinted, metallic watercolor paints. That's super fun. So I'm hoping you can see the glitter in there. So that's it. A couple of fun things to do. I hope it gives you some basics with the products and tools, and make sure you tune into my YouTube, and I'm going to share lots more ideas with my awesome design team. So thanks for joining me at Creativation 2018.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to give our video a thumbs up and subscribe to Scrap Time videos on YouTube. In the meantime, here are a couple other videos you might be interested in watching. See you next time. Bye bye.